What if I kill your brother? And you come for Badal, revenge. And I ask for Nanawati.
Then I would be obligated to feed, clothe, and protect you.
It's incredibly civilized.
Hello to all the classic people that are returning. I'm glad you're back. I want to welcome any new visitors. As a technical note, references and citations are listed for each show on the site at classicmovierev.com. Today on Classic Movie Rev, we are taking on The Beast of War 1988, sometimes called simply The Beast. Nick enthusiastically recommended today's movie. Thank you for sending it in, Nick. I love getting those requests from you, so keep sending them in. Before we get going, I want to remind you to follow the links in the show notes or from the site to visit our store. We just released a nice Day of the Dead t-shirt. This movie has a pretty average 7.3 rating on imdb.com. On RottenTomatoes.com, there is no tomato meter score and a decent 85% audience approval. New York Times film critic Vincent Canby said in a tepid September 16, 1988 review, quote, "The film was directed by Kevin Reynolds, who made his debut with Fandango, and adapted by William Mastrosimone from his own play. There's nothing terribly wrong with The Beast, except that it raises neither one's interest nor one's political consciousness. Though it was shot in Israel, it has the look, except for the color of the photography, of a B picture made in or near Hollywood 50 years ago." Unquote. Much closer to my take on the film, Chicago Tribune movie critic Dave Kerr said on December 2nd, 1988, quote, "The Beast is as blatantly uncommercial as a movie can be. Here, in the twilight of the Reagan era, is a film about the perils of a Soviet tank crew in Afghanistan. Glasnost or not, this isn't a concept likely to catch fire in a year where the Pledge of Allegiance was a burning campaign issue. What's more, as directed by Kevin Reynolds and written by William Mastrosimone, The Beast turns out to be even more foolhardy than that. Within the first few minutes of this dusty, determinedly realistic war film, it becomes apparent that the Soviets are standing in for the American soldiers in Vietnam, doing battle with a wily army of peasant guerrillas, and despite their tactical superiority, blowing it. In the last few years, Hollywood has developed its own agreed-upon interpretation of Vietnam. The war was bad, but the Americans who fought in it were victims at worst and heroes at best." Unquote. Actors.
Right, and I'm a Shakespearean actor.
Jason Patric was Soviet tank driver Konstantin Kovalchenko. He was born in 1966 in New York City.
I'm walking here! I'm walking here!
Patrick is the grandson of actor Jackie Gleason. Talk about getting a bump. His mother was also an actress and his father was a playwright. Patrick attended Don Bosco's Prep in New Jersey and St. Monica's Catholic High School in California. Early on in his acting career, he was in the fantastic modern vampire film The Lost Boys 1987. This film was followed by The Beast of War 1988. He was also in Roger Corman's Frankenstein Unbound 1990, which I haven't seen, but it sounds good. Other movies include Geronimo, an American Legend 1993, which is enjoyable despite its inaccuracies, Sleepers 1996, Speed 2 Cruise Control 1997, The Alamo 2004, which I like, and The Losers 2010. Patrick continues to make films and is very active. Stephen Bauer played Khan Taj. Bauer was born in Cuba in 1956. His family moved to the U.S. in 1960 following the Revolution. He graduated from Miami's Coral Park High School. Bauer attended the University of Miami and worked in theater. He began working on television in 1978. In 1980, he moved to New York and began studying with Stella Adler. In 1983, he got his big break when he was cast in Scarface 1983 with Al Pacino. Other popular movies include Running Scared 1986, the television movie Sword of Gideon 1986, which is virtually the same as Munich 2005, The Beast of War 1988, Gleaning the Cube 1989, Primal Fear 1996, and Traffic 2000. Bauer is a good actor and he continues to make movies and work on television. I'm sure his career would have been better except he was married to Melanie Griffith from 1981 to 89 and undoubtedly suffers from that curse. George Zunza played the mad Russian tank commander Daschle. Zunzuk was born in post-war Germany in 1945. His mother was Ukrainian and his father was from Poland. They were forced Nazi laborers. His family migrated from Amsterdam to the U.S. in 1956. Zunza graduated from Catholic Cardinal Hayes High School in New York City. Zunza studied at the Stellar Adler Studio of Acting. His first film was in 1973, and he also worked on television. His first big film was The Deer Hunter 1978. Other films include No Way Out 1987, The Beast of War 1988, White Hunter Black Heart 1990, a film based on director John Huston's Elephant Hunt during the filming of The African Queen 1951, Basic Instinct 1992, Crimson Tide 1995, and Dangerous Minds 1995. Zunza retired from acting in 2011. Eric Avery played the role of Samad, an Afghani soldier assigned to the Soviet tank crew. Avery was born in India in 1952. His father ran 2 movie theaters, and his great-grandfather was one of the pioneers of Indian film, so it is easy to see where he got his love for acting. In India, he attended the North Point School and attended College of Charleston in the U.S. Avery began in film in 1961. He has acted as more than 25 different nationalities and at least one other species. His best-known films are The Beast of War 1988, Encino Man 1992, Stargate 1994, where he was archaeologist Daniel's father-in-law, Independence Day 1996, The Mummy 1999, The 13th Warrior 1999, Planet of the Apes 2001, Mr. Deeds 2002, For Love of Money 1993, The Glass House 2001, and 3 Days of Rain 2000. On television, Avery played his character from Stargate 1994 as a recurring role on Stargate SG-1 1998 to 2001. He worked extensively on television, including comedies and Star Trek spin-offs. He's also worked extensively on the stage. Story.
Let me explain. No, there is too much. Let me sum up.
A small village of mud huts is shown adjacent to a desert terrain that could easily be Tatooine. In the village are women and children and older men. The villagers hear the sound of jets in the distance. Bombs begin to explode in and around the buildings. The year is set as 1981 and 4 Soviet T-55s roll towards the town. The tanks continue the attack on the village as the people run hither and fro. One of the younger men runs up the hill to a recoilless rifle. He shoots at the tank but misses. Don't miss if you're going to shoot at a tank. The village women attack the tank with rocks. The stoning goes as well as can be expected until a poison gas grenade is dropped from the escape hatch of the tank. In her rage, one woman doesn't notice the gas and dies on top of the tank. The crew of one of the tank gets out wearing gas masks and searches the buildings. They poison the town well, blow up huts, use flamethrowers on people, and shoot the goats. The Soviets collect a little food and drop their guard for a second. An Afghani with a Molotov cocktail destroys one of the tanks. One tank commander, Major Daschle, George Zunza, shoots a man coming towards his tank with a molly and shoots the man that destroyed the other tank. Kovarchenko, Jason Patrick, runs to the burning tank to help, but it's too late. The wounded attacker tries to shoot Kovarchenko, but the gun doesn't fire. They capture the man alive. Daschle orders the prisoner be placed under the tank tread.
Put him under the track.
Pachenko, mount, crank it up.
We're gonna squash you like a grape.
Samad, Eric Averill, questions the prisoner but gets no information. The women start to attack again, but Samad orders them to stop as one of the tankers fires into the air. Serena, Sochi Marciano, attacks Samad and calls him a traitor. She says the man is to be her husband. Kovarchenko, under orders, drives the tank over the man. The women raise hell. Daschle's tank is far behind the other two as they make their way across the desert back to the highway. Daschle orders a right turn at the fork and sends his tank deeper into the wilderness.
Direction, sir. Right fork. What?
right fork. Sir, you sure? Driver, I said right fork. Do you copy? What's your position? Yes, sir.
A group of Mujahideen fighters watch the lone tank turn into a broad box canyon. The fighters head back to get help. A group of men led by Taj Muhammad, Stephen Bauer, return to the death and destruction of the village. Taj has lost his family. He and his uncle Akbar say revenge is in order. Taj finds the half-crazed Sharina and gives her an orphan baby for care. Gunfire and motorcycles are heard as Taj's cousin, Mustafa, comes to the village. There is some bad blood between the cousins as Mustafa has to disarm before he is allowed to talk. When Taj finds a hidden gun, Mustafa says to have faith in Allah and keep a hidden gun. He tells of the lone tank that they have seen going into the Valley of the Jackal. Taj calls Mustafa a thief, and they speak of an ancient grudge. Mustafa goes to speak to the Khan, but is told that Taj's father is dead. Sharina says Taj's older brother was killed under the tank, and it makes him the new Khan. Sharina brings out an RPG launcher, which Mustafa takes, saying he knows how to destroy the tank. Taj decides to lead the revenge party. The Soviet tank rolls further into the high-walled valley. The tank's radio cannot transmit. Samad doesn't know where they are, and the map is partially destroyed. Dashko relieves him of his duties and says the logbook should be given to Kovarchenko.
Sir?
Where the hell are we?
I don't know, sir.
How do we get to the Kandahar Road?
I'm not sure, sir.
Those hills must be here. Kandahar Road must be on the other side of those hills, right?
I'm not sure, sir. The garrison grid coordinates are 31 degrees latitude.
Samad, you're relieved of your post. Give the logbook to Kovarchenko.
For what reason, sir?
Incompetence. Record it, Kovarchenko.
Kovarchenko wants to know why the man they ran over with the tank laughed. Samad says that he was happy that he was going to paradise. Suddenly, the tank comes under attack from the combined revenge party. The Soviets get the tank moving and fire a round high above the attackers. Mustafa doesn't know how to use the RPG and wastes a round. Akbar has a leg wound. Mustafa takes off with his motorcycles while the rest follow the tracks on foot. They find a watering hole and one man starts drinking. Taj finds the canister of Soviet poison and stops anyone else from drinking. Dashko blames Samad for not throwing the canister far enough away and ruining his plans. Dashko orders a frag round fired at the men near the water. The round misfires and they have to escape from the tank. As they are hiding, Dashko finds out that Samad touched the shell.
What happened?
Misfire. It's gonna blow. I know it's gonna blow.
The shell looked okay to me.
Samad,
Yes, sir.
did you touch that shell?
Yes, sir. I just handed it. I handed it to Golikov, sir, that's all.
He orders gunner Anthony Golikov, Stephen Baldwin, back to unload the hot shell. Golikov has never done the job before. Samad volunteers, and then Kovarchenko says he will do it. Kaminsky, Don Harvey, is ordered to watch the attackers. Kovarchenko, Golikov, and Dashko go to the tank. Dashko gives Kovarchenko grief for being kind to their Afghani allies. They get the shell out without a problem. They booby-trap the round with a grenade and leave it in the tank tracks. They drive away in the tank, going deeper into the valley. The revenge party continues to follow the tracks until one man finds the shell. It blows his arm off. Taj and Mustafa fight about leaving the man behind. Mustafa finally shoots the wounded fighter. Around sunset, the women arrive from the village and find the second dead body. The revenge band finds a crazy holy man dancing around a large fire. The holy man says that Taj is David, sent to destroy the beast or Goliath, aka the Soviet tank. The Soviets have stopped the tank for the night. The men are working on the tracks of the tank. Kovarchenko and Samad play chess. Samad teaches about the three obligations: hospitality, revenge, and sanctuary for all who ask.
Third, nanawate, the obligation to give sanctuary to all those who ask.
To all,
All?
even the enemy.
All.
What if I kill your brother? And you come for Badal, revenge. And I ask for Nanawati.
Then I would be obligated to feed, clothe, and protect you.
It's incredibly civilized.
Kovalchenko tells Samad to get away from Daskal as soon as possible. Golikov and Kaminsky get into a fight. Daskal finds out that Kaminsky has been drinking the brake fluid from the tank. Daskal tears the page about Kaminsky's mistake out of the logbook. Kaminsky tells Kovalchenko that he better watch out going forward. Suddenly, a grenade drops by the tank and explodes. The revenge fighters start firing at the tank. Daskal gets the tank cranked, and all the other men load through the escape hatch. A fire is burning on the outside of the tank, and they can't see the enemy as they flee. Taj fires the RPG at the tank and misses badly. When the tank has gone a safe distance, they stop. Golikov has a face wound. The men set up some detection devices around the tank in the night. Daskal tells the men they are safe in the tank. The detection device begins to pick up about 20 targets. They load a frag round and fire all weapons in a 360-degree arc. Daskal sends Samad out to verify the dead. Daskal then orders Kovalchenko to kill Samad. He refuses.
Kovalchenko, get on the car. Set Samad in your sights?
What?
Take him now, he's a traitor.
Are you insane?
Your insubordination has gotten you demoted from intelligence to rescue operations to this tank. Your next stop is prison. With a record like that, I wouldn't disobey another order. Take Samad now.
No.
All they have killed is a herd of deer. The next day, the tank crew finds a river. The tank is leaking oil, and Daskal orders them to prepare for a submerged crossing. Samad prepares to do his prayers. Daskal orders him to stop and check the depth of the river.
Why do you not trust me, sir? You know I'm a member of the party. My son is in the cultural exchange in Moscow, sir. Do you think I would compromise my son?
When Samad walks into the river, Daskal kills him with a machine gun burst.
Like ice, sir.
I didn't ask for the temperature. Is the bottom mud or stone?
Stone.
Kovalchenko yells at Daskal and begins writing the incident in the logbook. The tank, minus the dead man, make it across the river. Daskal doesn't like Kovalchenko because he's an intellectual. He tells of fighting Nazis in Stalingrad at the age of 8. He said they used a rope to lower him down to the tanks where he planted a Molotov cocktail. He got the nickname Tank Boy. The tank crew are having a heated talk about leaving the tank behind. Daskal catches them, and Kovalchenko explains all the reasons that the tank is in trouble. Daskal accuses Kovalchenko of mutiny and has the other men tie him to a large boulder. They place a grenade under Kovalchenko's neck as a booby trap. Kovalchenko pleads to the other men, saying Golikov is the next to be turned on. The tank drives away and leaves him behind. Akbar is limping badly from his leg wound and is far behind the other fighters. He finds Sharina and the other women from the village following the tank tracks. The women want to fight the tank and have C4 plastic explosives and grenades. He orders them back to the village. A pack of dogs find Kovalchenko and start chewing at his feet. The grenade falls loose and kills most of the dogs. Kovalchenko is not hurt because the blast happened below the rock where he was tied. Taj makes the hard decision to leave his wounded uncle behind. The tank is running pretty well in the open when Daskal spots Kandahar Road. They think they are home free. With their gas almost gone, they see a vast gorge blocking their way. Daskal has led them to the right location, but the missing part of the map has caused them not to know about what was ahead. Kovalchenko is being baked alive on the rock when the village women discover him. Sharina and the other women start pelting him with stones. Finally, he says Nanawate, which is the request for sanctuary. The women stop the attack. Sharina starts throwing rocks again, but the revenge party shows up and stops her. Mustafa, Sharina, and all the other men want to kill Kovalchenko. Taj is intrigued by why the tank left him behind. The revenge party and Kovalchenko spend the night in a cave. They debate about what to do with their prisoner. Taj collects food and lets Kovalchenko eat first. Taj eats last. Mustafa says Taj broke the RPG. Taj gives it to Kovalchenko. Through sign language, they have Kovalchenko fix the RPG. Again, using sign language, Kovalchenko says he will help destroy the tank.
Bala.
It's a tank. Tank. Yeah, tank. Tank. RPG. Kaboom. Tank. Yeah. RPG kaboom tank.
The tank crew uses bushes to camouflage their tank. When a Soviet helicopter flies near, Dashko fires a flare. The helicopter lands. Kaminsky and Golikov get on the helicopter. Dashko orders them back to the tank.
In the tank.
What for?
Because I said so.
We're going home, sir.
In the tank.
Why can't we go home in a fucking helicopter?
Because you're tankers.
The Soviet pilot says they were scouting for water. He also tells Dashko that the only way out of the valley is back the way they came. They get fuel from the helicopter and set up a planned resupply drop. The revenge party sees the tank heading back out of the valley. Todge draws the attack plan in the dirt, setting the final attack at the opening of the valley. The tank has to follow the valley floor, while the revenge party cuts over the ridge to get ahead. The tank crew travels all night. In the morning, the engine is overheating, but Dashko drives him towards the poison water hole. The helicopter has landed, and all of the crew are dead from drinking the poisoned water. They fill the tank radiator with the foul water. Dashko sees the revenge party, along with Kovarchenko, moving towards them. Dashko prepares the tank for battle. The tank won't start, and the machine gun is out of ammo. They manually crank the turret towards the attackers. They manage to fire an anti-tank round at the attackers. However, the round goes over their heads. Kovarchenko takes the RPG, but the tank finally cranks and flees. Mustafa and his men loot the helicopter and give up on the tank chase. Kovarchenko, Todge, and his crew follow the tank. One of the revenge crew is killed by a tank round. They move along the ridge above the tank. The tank crew sees the men on the ridge, but can't hit them due to the elevation. The tank shoots its last round at the attackers. Kovarchenko and Todge get ahead of the tank and set up the RPG ambush. The tank almost kills the two men before Kovarchenko runs it down and fires the RPG. The shot destroys the main gun, but the three men inside are safe. The tank keeps going towards the pass, and Todge prays that the tank be destroyed. Suddenly, an explosion high on the ridge sends an avalanche down, stopping the tank. Sharina and the women appear from where they caused the rock fall. The tank has lost a track and can't escape. Kovarchenko sees fuel leaking from the tank and makes a firebomb. The bomb catches the tank on fire as Kovarchenko shouts for Tank Boy to come out. In the tank, Dashko wants the men to kill themselves.
You know our standing orders?
What?
Out of commission, become a pillbox. Out of ammo, become a bunker. Out of time, become heroes.
Kaminsky and Golikov get the grenade away from Dashko. All three tankers surrender. Mustafa and his men show up, loaded with gear from the helicopter. Golikov begs on his knees to be spared. Mustafa tries to kill him, but Kovarchenko asks for sanctuary for the men. Todge keeps the truce, and Kovarchenko signals that he has killed the tank as he promised. Kovarchenko tells Dashko that the Soviets are the Nazis now, and you can't be a good soldier in a rotten war, echoing Vietnam.
Sorry, sir. Not much of a war. No Stalingrad. How is it that we're the Nazis this time? How is it? I tried to be a good soldier. But you can't be a good soldier in a rotten war, sir.
The three Soviet tankers walk out of the valley with Dashko in the rear. Sharina and the other women come screaming down the road and put an end to Dashko with rocks. Todge gives Kovarchenko an antique rifle. Sharina returns covered in blood, carrying Dashko's jacket. She asks Todge for forgiveness, which sends him into a rage. A Soviet helicopter flies over and the Afghanis hide. The helicopter sling loads Kovarchenko and his present into the air. Mustafa almost shoots Kovarchenko, but Todge stops him. I'll be back in a minute with conclusions and the world-famous short summary, following a word from our sponsors.
I hate the sound of my voice in a recording.
I hate the sound of my voice in a recording.
I hate the sound of my voice in a recording.
Do you hate to hear your own voice? Do you have a message that you want to send out? Takia is the solution for you.
I hate the sound of my voice in a recording.
I hate the sound of my voice in a recording.
Takia can be used to create amazing voiceovers that sound like real humans. You can customize voice type, pitch, and speed. There are a ton of male and female voices. Takia works for many major languages. Takia tracks are easy to export and work on both Mac and PC. Follow the link in the show notes or at the website to get your copy.
I hate the sound of my voice in a recording.
Summary. It is clear that this movie is about America in Vietnam rather than the Soviet Union in Afghanistan. If you like this movie, you should check out Man in the Wilderness 1971 with John Huston and Richard Harris. If you might desire a more modern version of the story, try The Revenant 2015. Eric Averill played Kasuf in Stargate 1994. He was the father-in-law of archaeologist Daniel when his daughter Shauri married the Offworlder. Israeli actress Mil Avital played Shauri. Avital bears an uncanny resemblance to Shoshi Marciano from today's movie. This movie came out in 1988. The Soviet Union, read Russia, invaded Afghanistan in 1979 and fought there until 1989. During this period, the U.S. was a secret ally to the Mujahideen. The Mujahideen was a group of Muslim warriors from the Pashtun area. They are known from the 19th century when they fought against the British Empire. At the time the movie came out, we wanted the Soviets to lose and the Afghanis to win. Thanks to history and Charlie Wilson's War 2007, we understand the problem with training and leaving this group behind. The U.S. entered Afghanistan in 2001, and I guess we're still there. So this movie has the wrong side winning and is out of tune with current geopolitical goals. Afghanistan has been called the graveyard of empires for so long, the name's origins are lost. When I think of fighting in Afghanistan, I think of the quote from Rudyard Kipling's poem, The Young British Soldier, that began this film. The last refrain reads, "When you're wounded and left on the Afghanistan's plain, and the women come out to cut up what remains, just roll to your rifle and blow out your brains, and go to your God like a soldier." World famous short summary, don't piss off the women. I hope you enjoyed today's show. You can find connections to social media and email on the site at classicmovierev.com or in the podcast show notes. Don't forget to follow the links in the show notes or from the site to visit our store. If you enjoyed this show, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. If you've already subscribed, you can tell a friend, colleague, or family member about the show or leave a review at Apple Podcast. It really helps the show get found. If you want to comment, suggest a movie, or help out, contact me by email at jec@classicmovierev.com. Beware the Moors.